Hi, everybody. Salim Ismail here. We've had the most unbelievable response to the Organizational Singularity video that Peter and I recorded. He was kind enough to sit down with me to go through this whole model and what we're doing. What we wanted to do in this video is cover what else should we have talked about, what questions should we have covered that we didn't. Not because the original interview wasn't really strong, because it really was, because there's a whole deeper implications underneath the overall conversation. And we'd never really fully unpack that, okay? So the whole case for this, after Peter and I recorded the conversation, there was actually quite a few questions we didn't get to, because in an hour, you don't have that much time. And honestly, some of them are really important questions that CEOs are asking me on a nonstop basis right now. And so we wanted to cover that. Okay. So let me cover the first one. If your org chart hasn't changed, have you actually transformed? That would be one question that we didn't kind of cover there. And this is probably the strongest opening question for where things are, because most companies think AI adoption means transformation. Okay. But meetings still look the same. Approval chains still exist. Leadership cadence is unchanged. Humans are still the coordination layer. Okay. That means you're not transforming, you're accelerating the old company. AI assisted does not mean AI native. Okay. The dabbling era is over. The architecture era now needs to begin. So if you are operating off your old organizational structure, anything you do with AI is going to accelerate the bottlenecks. So that was a very, very important, probably the most important question. Okay. Next question. You keep saying AI kills coordination cost. Why is that such a massive deal? This is the intellectual center of the whole conversation. Okay. Why? Because companies existed because coordination was expensive. And having hierarchical structures solved that coordination problem like 100 years ago. Middle management solves coordination. Reporting structures solve coordination. But today, agents coordinate faster than human beings. Okay, I'll go back to that famous tweet. I have to find the author's name. Building a product feature is cheaper than having the meeting about building the product feature. Okay, just sit with that. That just tells you everything you need to know in one sentence. Okay, because AI does not automate the worker first. It automates coordination, not the work that's getting done. The org chart is becoming a latency map. It's just slowing things down. Hierarchy was an optimization for expensive coordination. Okay. And this is a really key part of where this is going and why. Okay. Another question. If coordination cost collapses, what's actually left of the company? So this is where the conversation gets really interesting, because the answer is not companies disappear. What survives is what we call the fiduciary wedge. And this is a paper that Ted Shelton and I released last week. What do we mean by that is what survives is accountability, trust, your brand, your governance, your liability, your purpose, your fiduciary, your judgment. Okay, that's all the stuff that we call the fiduciary wedge. No amount of automation will solve accountability or brand or the emotional connection you have via your MTP, your broader purpose, and the judgment you bring along with it. Okay, the firm survives as an accountability, fiduciary, purpose, and risk and an MTP shell. Intelligence becomes cheap, but accountability becomes expensive today, because accountability in an age of 1 million AI agents is not a trivial task. So the future moat is going to be trusted accountability infrastructure. Okay, I'll just let you sit with that for a bit. Okay, next question. You're basically saying middle management was a coordination technology. What happens now? All right, this is probably the most of the part that needs to be most unpacked. Okay, what does middle management do? It routes information. It has status meetings. It has approvals. It has reporting layers. It has coordination. There's a coordination tax around this, right? So for all of these reasons, you can get rid of all of this now. The people don't become obsolete. Okay, this is really critical. The human beings lift above the loop. The coordination layer becomes obsolete. Middle management exists because coordination was expensive. Humans move from gatekeepers to validators. Okay, I'm going to repeat this. Human beings go from gatekeepers to validators. They go from being in the loop to on the loop. Okay, let me give you an example, historical example of this. If you went back 100 years and you looked at anybody doing bookkeeping, you had two big manuals, ledgers, and you used to do double ledger entry bookkeeping manually by hand. Reconciling, nightmare. Exception handling, nightmare, because everything had to be tracked down in the ledgers themselves. Okay. Then we had some better technology like a calculator where people could add up the columns faster rather than doing it on a slide rule. And you could do things a little bit more effectively. But then once we had software and accounting software specifically, nobody does double entry manual bookkeeping. What has happened is the accounting people lift above the loop. They're categorizing transactions and making judgment calls. Was that a loan, a temporary loan, or a long-term loan? Was that a travel expense or a business expense or a sales expense? You know, all of those judgment calls around how do you categorize transactions, exception handling. When you reconcile at the end of the month, you hit a button, the accounting software says there's this much of a gap in your monthly closing, and you can go track that down. So in accounting, human beings have gone from the doing and the coordination to validating and overseeing. Okay. Now, for many roles, not so much accounting, but this will feel very, very uncomfortable. But that's what makes it compelling. Because if you can really activate this coordination capability via AI, you can really radically accelerate your organization. Okay. All right. Next question. What is the middle 60% problem? Okay. This is kind of like the emotional center of this whole conversation and this whole organizational singularity thing. The middle 60% is not about top performers. This isn't an HR question. It's not about displacing workers. Okay. The real disruption is coordinators, process managers, information relays, people whose value comes from managing complexity. And that will disappear and largely evaporate. Okay. So this is really critical to be aware of. The real disruption is not the job loss. Okay. It's the identity disruption. You're not the middle management regional sales manager for the Midwest for a soap company going forward. Okay. You're going to be watching a bunch of agents doing that, and your job becomes actually much harder and much more fun. Okay. Telling people they're now exception handlers is not a transition strategy. Okay. But that's essentially where they will end up going. If your AI strategy does not include a bridge for that middle 60%, you don't have a transformation plan. Okay. So this is a really important piece of this. You have to guide those folks through it. Those are some of the most important people in your company, by the way, because they've been watching how the organization has been evolving. They have deep institutional knowledge. They're incredibly valuable, lifting up a level to help coordinate and help oversee all of the coordination that should be done by agents. Okay. All right. Next question, and maybe one of my most asked questions today. Why are 80% of AI projects failing? Okay. This is a very important and very practical question. Most companies are running pilots forever. They're augmenting systems instead of replacing systems. Okay. They're never redesigning workflows. Okay. They're keeping the same workflows, but trying to do it in a slightly automated way. This traps AI inside legacy systems. And I can't stress this enough. And today what's happening is you have your connectivity and cloud provider, then you have your ERP and legacy operational systems, and all the workflow and data is wired into that in an untangleable wedge, a mess, sorry. Okay. So we have to figure out how to undo that, because you can't move to the new model with that. And when you try and pilot new ideas, of course, you can't get into that. You're trying to probing into the AI is kind of sitting on the edges, doing things, trying to get into that middle. It needs to be AI centric and going outward. Okay. So a pilot without deprecation is a science experiment. You really need to be running a total new model. You don't pilot AI. You need to replace workflows from being human centric to being intelligence centric. I'm going to repeat that because this is the most important transition and framing you could have. We are moving from human hierarchy to intelligence-centric framing for organizations. And most companies are automating the bottleneck instead of removing the bottleneck. Okay? And so this is really, really critical. All right, next question. Why can't companies transform from the center? Well, this is why I'm bold. Um, I was at Yahoo running their incubator, and the more disruptive an idea we brought to the company, the less they could handle it. Okay. Why? Because as John Hagel and John Seeley Brown have pointed out, all organizations are designed for two things: efficiency and predictability. If you're McDonald's, you're trying to deliver the same Big Mac in 100 million locations all hours of the day in 100,000 countries, right? This is the key heuristic for big companies. But the future organization needs to be anchored on adaptability, flexibility, agility, and speed. When you do anything disruptive in a legacy organization, the antibodies will attack you, the immune system will kill you. Legal blocks it, HR blocks it, IT blocks it, lawyers go, we can't do that, regulatory blocks it, etc., etc. Therefore, you can never do anything disruptive in a legacy environment. I don't know how many times I need to tell senior management this problem. Most of them don't see it because it's just a blind spot that we just don't see. But the immune system problem is the biggest slowback to big companies anywhere. Okay. Every company, if you're 50 people or more, has an immune system. Unless the CEO has a first name basis with everybody, you have an immune system. Now, you cannot transform the company from the center because that immune system will attack you. And by the way, it's not a bad thing, right? You don't want to threaten that cash cow, that mothership. That's what got you successful. Disruption has to happen at the edge. And this is, again, very deep and very old thinking. This is why we created Skunkworks. This is why Microsoft is investing in OpenAI. This is why Facebook is buying Instagram, buying Facebook, leaving them at the edge. This is why Google, trying to do Waymo or YouTube, is pushing them to the edge. Okay, Google X. Okay, with the rewrite methodology that we have is absolutely critical for this, because you have to rebuild your company at the edge. You create a digital twin of it, and we have that methodology built into the book. Okay. All right. Next question. What does the future company actually look like? Okay. The future organization are going to be very tiny teams delivering massive leverage. Okay, which is intelligence dense, with recursive self-improvement at the core, with agents as the execution layer, and humans focused on the judgment and the trust of that. So your future organization, we've got it architected as drive and shape. Drive provides the intelligence engine and a recursive self-improvement and value defense and value moats around that. And then shape gives you the shape of that, say, rocket ship. And then MTP becomes where are you heading and what are your guidance systems that indicate you're going there. Okay, so the future organization, instead of being human, hierarchical, and workflow centric, becomes intelligence centric. This is the biggest change in organizational design in 100 years. Okay, so the future company is not headcount dense, it's intelligence dense. The org chart disappears into intelligence layers. The companies that redesign themselves around intelligence are the ones that are going to survive, because the asteroid is hit. Okay, most companies just haven't looked up yet. That's the shift. See you next time. We're here to explore how we shift our mindset, our organizations, and our systems for the future. If that matters to you, please like the video, comment below, and subscribe. It really does make a difference.